Hello everyone, and welcome back to another live stream here on twitch.tv/Xisuma. I hope I have pressed all the buttons and pushed all the dials. Do you push dials? Jeez. Here we go. We are live. Official Jaden is throwing those bananas in chat. So is Maurice. Anyone else? Cabot says Hermitcraft or bye-bye. Fair enough, dude. If you don't want to watch something that isn't Hermitcraft, go right ahead. Isabella Online, thank you for the bananas. Surprise tea. LF Gaming, Devocrates, appreciate it. Lets me know that we're live. Also, Maurice is here with a noise in the ear. For 6 months in a row, incredible. Half a year, indeed. Now, let's jump right into it. It's our second day playing Infinifactory, and we're going to create a solution to a problem today. Whew! We're going to do that probably several times, or, spend many hours getting stuck on a difficult challenge. Who knows? Who knows? This one over here looks very interesting. Look at that. Look at that. So what we have to do is take 5 of these and then get them welded in 4 different positions. I am looking at this bit here as if we've already assembled the shape. Let's rotate that. And if we've already assembled the shape, we're probably going to be moving it across like that. But I'm looking at that. Oh, wait a minute. We could also look at that bit there like it's been assembled into a group of 5. We could rotate as we come through, potentially. So it's like presses on the outside, rotates, presses again. That's got to be a very effective way of achieving this. Let's say that's the way it's going to happen. We now have to create a shape of 5, and in order to reduce our footprint, if we create it here immediately, we can shimmy the thing over here with less blocks. That probably reduces our block score, not our footprint. So we got Randy Sink here for 2 months and Archangel here for 7. Thank you for your tremendous support. Daniel in chat says, what is Infinifactory? Great question. It is a puzzle game, but in a 3D environment with blocks that you manipulate. Kind of like Redstone, there's pistons. And there's conveyor belts like Factorio. And it's a sandbox puzzle solving game, meaning when you create a solution, it's quite likely going to be unique each and every time you create one, which is just fantastic. Now, how do we create a shape of 5? Again, I'm going to try and do this with the cycle rate up, so we can bring them out faster than that. And that might be too fast. Well, we'll aim for that. Now, to be fair, I don't have much of a clue. Not much of a clue. Like, let's build a platform. We want to get them in that arrangement, right? Now, I can picture us perhaps detecting when something arrives here and pushing something across. Actually, we need to look at it. Maybe more like that's the shape. Oh, this is interesting. Maybe we have multiple pistons, so let's say we have a piston like here and here. So they come across, we detect, then we got one. Oh my, this is interesting. This is like rather challenging. What happens if we got 5 in a row, right? We got... Oh, that's the better... Oh, let's use height. Okay, I think I've got a really good idea now. So you put down some blocks, you sort of think visually about what's going on, and when you look at shapes and blocks, then all of a sudden like an idea might pop in your head. And I think one just popped into mine, but it's going to be a little tricky to figure out. So I'm going to put a marker down here, right? We got to picture it like, I'm actually going to pretend these are conveyors, even though they're not. So those are the 5 blocks. From there, can we position them all into that? Probably not, but if they're conveyor belts, we could have 5 like this, and then push them off in different directions, but not quite. Maybe the 5 are like that. Then we have a piston pushing... There's more shapes than this. this is something. Maybe I need a combination of blocks being pushed off and moved when they land down below. So for the sake of that, let's come back to this. Actually, I'm going to go... No, well, wrong button. I'm going to go that way. And then I'm going to put one like that, yep. Okay, and then we're going to position some pistons, purely for speculating on where they might land and what they might do when they get there. So far that would give us 3, although that one would go to the same place. Doesn't seem so smart. Let's go ahead and have 2 here. I think we're onto something, and I'm trying to go for the most compact thing to begin with, so let's rid ourselves of the idea that this needs to be super compact for a minute. That being said... So if I make that 3 wide... Then we have our items come in this direction. So what I'm thinking is... One piston is useless, says Riag. Oh, that's why we're using more than one. That is why we're using more than one. So they're going to land in this sort of shape, currently. So if that was a tractor, then it would end up there, and we would just need one in that spot. So in theory, maybe that's the end of the line, and we have another piston back here. And we might just be able to squeeze it into this space, funny enough. Although all that time spent falling is going to be a problem. Which makes me think I might need to look at it a different way. Because if you're going to drop things down and have them fall into position and then move them a little bit, you kind of want to minimize the amount of time they spend moving, because you want it to be nice and synchronous. Now this does not include a sensor, does it? So we would need a bunch of conduits. And that would actually eliminate the need for all of these bits. Anyway, let's see what happens. Right, they come out relatively fast. Didn't put a sensor on it. That's fine. I think for the last 2 bits we're going to do this, and then have our sensor there. Because they're not actually perfectly... Yeah, they're not perfectly positioned yet. They're sort of one apart from one another. That last position, not needed. Just turn the conveyor belt. Well, it's needed for the sensor, but yes, I understand the logic of what you're saying. So what I haven't considered is that they're all apart by one. Mellow Magic Maniac, thank you ever so much for 5 months supports, and GriffXO, thank you for your Prime subscription, appreciate it. Apex Bit says, I have this game and never thought Xisuma would stream it. Well, I played it in the past, when it was only like, you know, half a year old. Let's start again with this. I think I need to come out a little bit further. Feels like we're too close to that space, and things are going to be spaced out by 1. So if we start with a simple sort of approach here of like piston, piston, because that's essentially where they're going to be. If I want to make this nice and fast and synchronous. Although, here's something that I could potentially do. We could use the piston speed to slow things down. So this might be another way of achieving the same sort of thing, but with a faster clock cycle. Let's go ahead and put the clock cycle on max and bring them out. Now what happens... Right, it actually stops the feed. And the time in which they drop, we might be able to move them into position somewhere else. So if we think of that as like a sort of slowing down, a pausing of events, it might give us enough time to finagle things into position. So we would want... That one goes there. So 3, but we need one back here, so I need to think of it more like that. It's an interesting shape to develop. That one in the middle is going to be awkward. But potentially we use height to get it there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put our... Wait, we don't have upwards facing... Oh, no, wait a minute. Our welders has to face downwards. Oh, man. Okay, that's a whole nother level of challenge. Maybe then it makes sense to make these in parts. Because the welding... Okay, well, I've got an idea, right? Ideas are good. So let's say these 3 blocks get welded together, and they're going to get pushed forwards. Now, what I want to do is separate the ones in front. So everything will get pushed in this direction. We'll have a 3 and 2 separate. If I do that, both of those blocks will go in that direction. I kind of want it so like one would go either side. So we have to actually separate. Oh, yes, we have to separate it. Now, if I do that, aha, and then do that, we make one block on either side at a very particular position. But then how do we weld it? Because we need blocks above or to the side. Oh, wow. What a fascinating challenge. Also, I think we're going to need that, but we might not need them. So, if you're following what we're doing, I will quickly bring you up to speed here. Okay. We are creating a 3 and separating the 2. See, what I was trying to do was put them all in the same spot. But wait a minute, why did one end up on the... Oh, right, we don't need that anymore. I was trying to put them all into the position immediately, but if we maneuver them, you'll see that for a moment there's this brief moment where we have them either side. So now it's like, how do we weld them together? I think what we have to do is move them both forward by 1, because they need room to fall down. And then we have to have our welding at this position. That kind of looks like it. That kind of looks like the solution. Oh, yeah, and then there's that problem. Right, jeez. I think I can put a block there. Okay, interesting. Timing is now the issue. So, both this one and that one need a delay. Now, the alternative might be that they're the ones that drop out from behind. So let's play with that idea. That they're going to come in from behind. I think that is the way we need to rearrange it. However, potentially only on one side, which is actually a good thing. Okay, I think I see a clear path for us to complete this puzzle. We're going to need potentially that. So we shuffled that forward. Now this is going to need to be pushed across to this position. And the one that falls down there is still going to cause us a problem. Yes, it is. And I thought I had a solution in mind, but maybe I don't. Let's see what happens. Yes, because that takes place. The timing needs to be right on both sides. So this one arriving late is good. That one is not. Now I could have a piston push it off in the other direction back there, which kind of looks ugly, but that shouldn't be a reason not to do things correctly. So rather than add some like extra circuits here to slow it getting over there, what we're going to do is put our welder here. Looks good. So this would then actually need a piston there. And the difference would be that we have a piston here. And not there. Now it gets pushed down on the opposite side. Where we bring it across. To... yeah, I guess timing is going to be of the essence now. Timing will be of the essence. Okay, is everything hooked up? I think everything is hooked up. It's not going to fall apart. Let's see what happens. Right, it went straight through. Not a problem. And I think what we're going to see happen is that... oh, no. Let's play around with this then. You don't need to be there. 1, 2, 3. So it's that block. Okay. It sits there. Right, the second one to arrive was this one here. The only question is, where are the next set of blocks? It looks like it's going to be dead close, but in theory, that will move it forward. Oh, I think we get away with it. I think we get away with it. Oh my, that is close, isn't it? That is probably as close as you can get. So, after that point, we no longer need these things spread out. But we do need 2 in between each time. And then I think we want that. Then we want that, and then we need some sort of rotation. So now they should make their way all the way over here with the correct shape. Yep. Ah! I got a little bit too eager there, didn't I? Right, here they come. So, actually, no, it just needs to rotate the once. Let's mess around with putting that rotation in a different spot. Oh, that would need to be one closer. Okay, so that kind of actually works. We need that one to take it off, and then that one. That might be it. We might have just made the solution. Let's see. Nope. Nope, didn't work. That should do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we found a solution. What does chat say to that? Did you understand what was going on? Did you have any idea at all, chat? BG Monster Fan says no. I haven't done a good enough job of explaining, have I? So, our cycle score was max, which is really good to see. Footprint score was on the high side, and block score also good. Right, any optimizations? I would say that maybe this right here could be a little bit smarter. It's kind of a bit obvious, which makes me think maybe there's a smarter way to use the welders. You know what you could do is potentially push the blocks in with this set of welders and then rotate and weld again. But that's probably a little too complex for me to arrange. We're at the point where the levels take longer now, so I'm probably going to spend less time redoing and optimizing, but yeah, I think that's the main place where you could optimize. Imagine you just had these 3 welders, 3 blocks went underneath and got rotated, and then the other 2 came into place. That's the only way I could see it potentially using a few less blocks. So that was really cool. And according to chat, we got people here that understand, people that don't, people that find the game very interesting. Make a T-shape and then join on the last one. Oh yeah, that's another way you could do it. For now, though, we're going to go back to the cell. I'm going to go back to my cell. We've got some excavation to do, and then a performance review coming up. We could actually take that performance review already, but I really want to impress our alien overlord bosses, you know. So we've got 2 sets of items. Let's see what... Oh no, do we have 2 sets? What is this? This is a processing unit, isn't it? Yep. So it will cut the shape. Wow, we got to cut blocks. Now I'm seeing that we have 2 groups of 3 and a group of 4. And that the blocks will need welding. Just wondering if there's some clever logic to all of this, where we can kind of like line all the blocks up and evenly split them, but we've had a bit of a trouble trying to sort of count blocks correctly. It's like hard to create a counter that can then push them off in... Well, actually no, I could use 10 pistons and separate them all off from a line. That would be one way to do this. Okay, or maybe less than that. Maybe just 4 pistons. Here's what I'm thinking. We definitely need to, like, learn some advanced ideas here, I think, is the issue. And there is not a lot of space. Right, let's count the... Oh, what am I going to do with cycle speed on this one? It's already pretty... Max is probably going to be too much. We'll try 1 and see what happens, right? The main way I can tell what's going to happen is by checking how they go around corners. So they don't nudge into each other, that's cool. So what we can do, potentially, is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When we have something right over here, we will have 6 set to go into that space. Behind it, can we put 1, 2, 3, 4? We can. Look at that. Minimal amount of space. I will not be able to put conduits on the bottom side. Potentially not on the top side, actually, either. Yikes. Maybe we don't have enough space. Maybe I don't really have to have it quite like that. Okay, let's backwards engineer this. So now we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 there. So that is 6 blocks to be processed. So at the point that one arrives on that 6th spot, we detect it and we push off the 4 that are the other side of it. Okay, let's get our conveyors out in front. Who's following so far? No. I'm a bit of a wally. Yeah. I'm a bit of a wally. Oh, this is the same problem we've encountered in the past. So if I put the sensor over on this side, it gets activated as every single block comes through. So what I really need to do, now let's put the cycle speed up for a second. So we're going to lose the consistency no matter what. But I think I'm going to leave it in that position for what we're going to do. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to sort of figure out how do we get 6 onto here. And I think what's going to help us is having it set up like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Or it could be that every time something comes out the end of this, you then push them over. Let's watch that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so as soon as something's here, then we push off 4 blocks. Let's see if we can get the timing on that correct. Yeah. I want to make things compact, but it looks like we're going to have to sacrifice a little bit of that. That's only 3 pistons. What am I thinking? Here's the 4th one. It's 3, 4, 5. Okay, I did 5, which is fine. Just going to put that there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have 4, but then it stops them for a while. Yikes. Oh, hello. There we go. It's the same old problem. It's the same old problem. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Move the end pile. The end pile, that's not... The problem isn't that they built up here. The problem is that the sensor gets activated multiple times, okay? I seem to forget that every time. Every time I work with sensors and pistons, I kind of forget that sense of operation. So the alternative is maybe we count for the first 6... to be... No, that wouldn't work. Okay, alternate idea. Right, hang on. If my idea works for 6, why wouldn't it work for 4? I have 4 pistons pushing them off. It's because I'm counting. Okay, so we have consistent. We have a consistent amount of blocks here. One that are the same as the amount coming out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When there's a block here, there will be the right amount for us to move them on their way. Now, the one here can continue going onwards, which it probably should do. Or it could alternatively turn the corner. So it's on a new set like this. Now, there's the 4 that we want to continue going on in this direction. If I turn that into a 6, we've got to bring it all the way back around again. So it doesn't make sense to do that. It makes sense to use 6 pistons. Okay. And I can already think of some other issues we're going to encounter here, but one thing at a time. So the 6 directly behind it need to be removed to keep it balanced. And do we get conduits on all of them behind them? Potentially I could just put a downwards facing sensor there instead. So far so good, right? Now when they come out here, we would be tempted to do this, but it's going to slow down the output speed. So let's see what happens. Oh, how did I not realize that wouldn't work? Why do I do that? I guess we are going to need like 9 pistons. It just feels wrong to use so many pistons, I guess. So in that case, let's rotate this way and go and put those 3 there. The timing looks just about right. We get away with it. That will work. I do not like the large amount of pistons, right? Use platforms in front of the pistons. I guess I could because they all push each other along, right? You mean like that? I don't know if that changes your score at all, but that'll work the exact same way. I guess it's nice to indicate that they're not actually necessary to work that way, if anything. Okay, so chat, I'm paying attention. which I don't do a lot because I get sucked into these puzzles. By the way, GamerX85, thank you for your 41 months of support. Appreciate it. Use one piston, says Sadie. I wouldn't know how to use one piston to move 10 blocks. But yeah, it's like... What? Is there another way to do that? It just feels so... Weld the 4 together so they go off as one, says Power Prism. That is some smart thinking. That takes care of 2 things at once, doesn't it? Smart thinking. I could potentially then weld... let's do what? Whoa, let's do one thing at a time. So what we're saying is that if we put this here and then remove that, it's the same effect. Brilliant. Well done. That is some great compactification. Now, the other ones we want in groups of 3. Maybe not. I don't know if this will actually... If this will actually take them in 3s, but possibly we could do the welding here as well. So if I have a block here, and then a downwards facing welder. That is not a downwards facing welder. There we go. Those 3 are going to go through as 3. Then here... I think we need to do that. And then have it set up the same way again. Let's see what happens. No, not quite. But I could just use more welders, so... We'd have a bit of a problem there. Okay, let's see what happens. Yeah, I could see that happening as it got going there. It's because of that block. And it's because we can't actually weld in that space. Because it's so close. SaddyW Open says, put one piston at the split. Why one piston? Why would one piston help? Like, we need to move 6 blocks out of the way, so why would only one work? That's what I don't understand. Madster Rabbit says, pull the welders out one. Yeah, it looks like, you know, I'm trying to build it compact, but it looks like that's the way to do it. So, these ones here are not needed. I don't know if that attaches... Oh, look, it attaches itself to the building. So then we need that. See what happens. Oh yeah, of course you would. Well, there you go. So now we've got, you know, parts of the puzzle together. Where do we go from here? Now we're working with some bigger objects. I can't help but feel we might need to use this drop to put those blocks on top of these. There is also the question of this comes through first and then these ones come through after. So if they need to go below, we're probably going to have to sacrifice some. They're going to have to just sort of stay there stationary. Which would be a bit weird, but it might just be what we have to do. So how do we get these into groups of 2? Probably queuing them up and using pistons to push them. I was legit just watching one of your YouTube videos, says Hey Woa. I am not surprised. I mean, people are watching them all throughout the day. You can use one welder for the 4 blocks together, I think, says Toonwas. Well, you can't use one, you have to use 2 welders. And if I were to roll it out forwards, which would keep that activated, which I don't want, then I could use 2 maybe. Pretty sure... Actually, maybe we don't need that one. Let's try it out. 1 less welder. Yeah, you can do it like that then. Okay, so we've reduced the amount of those. That's good. Don't forget about rotating one of the 3s, says Dogi Master. I have not forgotten. That is the challenge right now. To get them essentially queued up. Might help to rotate them at some point here. So if I go ahead and put a belt there and a block there. Oh, well that one pushes you off. Not good. Well actually I can just extend all of this out by 1. I think it'll do what I want it to. Oh, then it won't let that one rotate. Yeah, you need that like operational space with these blocks. Okay, so that's not so bad. That's not so bad. It's probably going to need to be like this. And then we're going to need a piston. See, then we kind of like drop them into different lanes is the idea. Or that. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Let's put it like that. Right, so now we get 2 of them side by side. But if I want to rotate one, I kind of don't want them side by side, funny enough. I wonder if there's like a great way to rotate both of them based on one locking out the other's position. Let's sort of bring it back to about here. Like, wouldn't it be cool if, because the other one was in its way, it caused it to rotate differently? I can't really see how that works in my head, which is unfortunate. Couldn't you have changed the last belt by a standard block for the same effect? Possibly, Javan. Not sure what you mean though, because stuff's always changing on the screen. Here's another thought, right? Yes. Yeah, here's a good thought. So that is going to end up in those 3 spaces. When the next one comes along, it's going to go 1, 2, 3. Now it's going to be here. And I think we can push 1 in one direction and 1 in the other. Why do I feel like this is just going to make me go, oh yeah, that doesn't work all over again? I feel like whenever I work with the pistons, I always have to relearn something. So let's see what happens with that. I do not know why I put a sensor there. Makes sense it does not. No, it does separate them. So we can separate them. And as you'll see, this one will have a hard old time. Actually, maybe it won't. Maybe what we need is just an extra block here. So it falls down to that spot. Then on the way down, one of them needs to rotate. And it would appear to be our one on the outside. I think it would need to do that. And the block's in the way, so it would need to at least be there. This really doesn't feel very elegant so far, but when you get further into this game, that tends to be what happens. Okay, then we move all of this over by 1. Hello. And I think it means we probably need... Actually, yeah, no, we need an extra one here. Let's get rid of that. That's good. Now, kind of want it to rotate again. So I think that means we put the same type here, and then we put a conveyor behind it to push it off. Very good. Now, notice how they're almost kind of in line. So where this one falls over here, it's going to need to go in that direction. And it needs to go over yet another block. Oh, there we go. And then we're going to have to do something with this. So the first one can't be sacrificed just there. And then where are you going to end up? Where do we sacrifice one of those? Maybe here? I think what we have to do is drop... Where does it drop? See, then I can put one here, but then we're sacrificing 2. So let's see what happens. Actually, no, we're only no, we are sacrificing 2 in a way. Yeah, we really need to pull this off straight away. Can I have it go the other direction? How do I sacrifice one here? I just don't... If I put a block there, it's going to take 2. I don't see how to sacrifice one. Or maybe if it does that, right? One gets sacked. Yeah, no. Ah! Not quite. You need to have a conveyor belt going in the opposite direction on the ground. Do we now? Let's go back to it being this way around. So we need a conveyor belt to push that off. I keep struggling to press the right rotate button. It's driving me mad. I can't figure out how to place a block that it not falls on but gets used on. Gets used on? Not sure what you mean by that. Anyway, this thing can fall down anywhere and this thing can shove it along. It's just going to arrive too quickly, so... See, look, when the next one comes along, it's sacrificed 2. See, in my mind, I land it on there, and then the next one, it doesn't go over, you have to sacrifice 2. So what if I just have that, and then this? That's it, isn't it? 1. It's not even sacrificed, it's just in waiting. Excellent, okay. Then we can put one there. And then it's the case of like rotating it and moving it across. Okay, so it lands like around here. Rotate it that way. And then we need to start aligning stuff in this space. So there are all the parts. Okay, so I think what I want to do is have a block here for it to land on. Then we need, then we need to move it to the same spot. So now it's going to parallel, right? And that's going to be right in the middle. So this, in theory, is also in the correct spot. Right, and if we look at how far across it needs to go, we actually need this to be right there. And I don't think it interferes with anything. Yep, not interfering with anything. Okay, then it needs welding, and the timing might have been just off a teeny tiny bit, unfortunately. So we weld with a sideways welder below. Again, this... There we go. Might have the potential to... Guess it needs to be one higher. Needs to be one higher. Like that. Let's see what happens. Can I pause? Right. So that's going to get welded. Not an issue. And if we're lucky, if we're very, very lucky, then the timing is just about right that this will be the thing to take it off. And that our welders will go right here. Okay, so that could be it. That could be the end of the production line. Ah, but the timing is off by a tiny, teeny bit. And I'm not really sure how to fix that. How would we fix that? How do we, like, slow this down a teeny, tiny bit? I'm not sure that we can. Really not sure what you do just to slow down one element by a tiny bit. Just falls in too quick. You can turn welders on and off. Oh, right, with sensors. Oh my goodness me, can you? Okay, no, they don't connect. How do you turn them on and off? Pistons moving welders. Don't you need sticky pistons for that? Let's try it though. I seem to remember that being a more advanced block later on. Maybe I'm... Pretty sure this is like an advanced thing for later on. Well, there's that. There's the issue of that, people. Yeah, it's an advanced block that you have later on. It's not available yet. Put the conveyor put the conveyor one by side. What does that mean? Put the conveyor one by side. I wonder if falling and going on blocks adds delay. So, like, experiment. Would that... that rotates the block. Hilarious. Is that going to delay it at all? Like, the fall timing? No, it kind of looked identical. I guess it already spends time falling, so it makes sense that that wouldn't. So that's not an option. We're just sort of delaying the inevitable there. Move the welders by one block to the left. Let's have a look. Because I don't think it will weld it in the correct position if we do that. So it's going to weld it there. Now if they're over to the left by one... They would actually be moving at the same time. No, the block underneath would move over, but then it would have nothing to weld it to, because they're not attached yet, so that would be staying in the same position. Have a piston block the 4 and then retract it when you want it to drop. Interesting idea. Interesting idea. Okay, so... how would we achieve that? Okay, so... the piston would need to... but it would need to be extended. Actually, how on earth would you do that? Because the piston needs to be extended, so a sensor needs to be activated. I guess it would be the one over here, but then you would need it to be inverted. I don't know how you invert it so the piston is extended. That's not a thing. Okay, so we can't do that, I think. Unless we can time it passing by something earlier that, like, happens to coincide with what we're trying to do. So if I go and put the piston here, and we pray that, like, it can be attached to the falling of something over here, right? And so we're just hoping that the timing happens to be correct, but... so too early, or too late, in fact, nowhere near is probably a better predictor. So we want it to extend now, and that would probably be the sensor being here. This feels super hacky. Actually, let's look at stuff closer in the area for when we want it to extend. So we want it to be extended right about now. So potentially something above that block. Let's speed up. That can be done. That can be done. And again, very hacky. Very hacky way of getting things done. Oh, or does it block off? Yeah, it blocks off the path if we do it that way. So it's also then not attached to anything. Ah, it's a little too much. It's a little too much. Oh my word. Okay. Well, what does that mean then? Okay, alternate idea. Alternate idea. Let's have a... if I put it there, it's going to interfere with rotation, right? Let's just see what happens to rotation first. Can it rotate with a sensor there? No. Ah, that's so unfortunate. I think Glasswire lets you see what devices are connected to your Wi-Fi network, says Frank B. Thanks! Thanks! I didn't need to know that. Stefan RBK is here for 16 months. We got Mercius 8 for 5, Betty Baghdadi for 30, and Dragsoul here for 4. Thank you so much, peeps. I appreciate it. Have a sensor in between the rotators. Yes. Yes. Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Let's see if the timing is now better for our needs. Oh. Too early. Too early. Unless it extends into a different position. So let's go. Let's try there. That. Wait, how does it drop? Yeah, no, that's going to mess up everything. So, in order for this to be connected to something, it will have to be this. Let's see if that can delay it a little. Ooh, new problem. You can't go there. Oh man! Like, what do I have to do? It feels like the piston is stopping it for too long. So it probably doesn't matter if we use a piston or not. I've got another idea. Let's just remove that for a second. I mean, it arrives too early. It just... If I could just have it... No, I know what to do. I know what to do. Okay, I think I got it. So, that moves the thing out of the way. Yes. When it lands there, that's when we need to take it out. Okay, then it will go... 1, 2, like that. Oh, that might be it. That might be it. Okay, there is no elegance in this. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no. Well, I guess... Yeah, it works. I see why it didn't get pushed all the way across, but the next one pushes it. Well, there you go. Max cycle score. I mean, there are probably way more elegant ways of doing this. I should really look up some other solutions. I feel like this is one of those games like Redstone where you can learn techniques that are valuable. At least we got a good block score. Look at that. That's. I mean, I'm happy that I'm over this edge, you know. This is like your IQ. This is like your brain power right here. I hope we come up against a challenge where I can, you know, figure something like that out, essentially. Have a bit more of a elegant approach. I think when they were simple, we found a few, but now that they're more complex, it's kind of harder to bring it all together, isn't it? So, we've got to make a... Oh, I remember doing this. So we want a group of 4 and a group of 2 coming out of there for every 2 on this side. So let's just play it like that, and then CPU cycle max. Right, what I want to do is play. So we've got 2 blocks there and 1 coming out, and here we have 4 blocks and 1 coming out. I think we can play on max CPU cycles, but we are undoubtedly going to use the piston to slow down the output rate. I think I'm going to play with 1 less. 1 less on the output rate. Otherwise, I just got a feeling it's going to mess me up. So, we want... Actually, don't we want 6 to 2? Hang on a minute, that's a point. We don't want 4 to 2, we want 6 to 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, we pressed the wrong button. That's 6, and then 1's coming out over there. But it had 2. Yeah, no, okay, so that's the correct ratio. If I make it faster, I've got a feeling that ratio is going to get messed up. So I feel like we're going to probably make the 4 fall down and bring in the 2 behind it, and then push over the 2 that are processed. So it'll probably get assembled just in that area. And if we want 4 of these to come along for the rides... Now, the age-old thing that we've learned time and time again... Unnecessary Redstone says, ratio always stays the same, it just cranks up the rate. Yes, okay, if that is true, that's great. My issue is that I will undoubtedly slow the output on this side, is what I've experienced, because of using pistons to separate things, essentially. If I have it slower than the max, that doesn't tend to happen. So I'm now wondering, how do I want to split this up? Because... Oh, for the front, do a 2-to-1 split twice, says Spancy. Good thinking, actually. That's good thinking. And so with that, I guess I can use 3 pistons. But I could also weld... Oh. In which case... we would have 2 blocks here. By the way, where is that glorious background music? I mean, it's very low. We're not even listening to the voice stuff. Okay. It's in here. So that creates us our block of 2 when they arrive here. At which point we want to detect it and send a block this direction. Thank you for that tip, by the way. That was an important one, I feel like. Okay. We are going to detect at this point... Ah! Right there. And that's going to link up here. So that should be our opening sequence. But look what happens to the blocks behind it. They actually, it catches up. There's a little gap, so we are not drastically affected. So that, who was it in chat who explained that the ratio would stay the same when we put the input rate up? My question to you is, am I missing something here? Because as soon as you start to use pistons, you are going to slow or block the speed of blocks coming out, which to me discourages me from playing at the max input rate. What are your thoughts on that? That's what I'm very curious about here. Now, don't we also have to put this thing in as a 2? So we'd have another welder right here. I believe. X, you can use C to change black types. I think you mean block. Oh yeah. Very cool. That's a cool little shortcut. Right, so we should now have... Yeah, okay, and if you look at the rotation, it's the correct rotation for the output. So I'm thinking that we're probably going to end up bringing it, you know, sort of over here and dropping it down somewhere. The trick is, to it is it's designed to so most open loop solutions get overrun really fast. The trick to it is it's designed so most open loop solutions get overrun really fast. What's the difference between an open loop and a closed loop then? I'm gonna guess maybe if you're manipulating the flow of items coming out by using the piston here, you need to do the opposite at the other end. Closed loop and open loop, that doesn't quite make sense to me. I'm sure there is a sense to it, you know, I'm just a derp, so that's the thing. Okay, now we could potentially... Can we even use a little bit of space here, I'm just thinking. If we finagle... So you go that way, then this way, right? Our 2 blocks are now dropping down here. What I need to do is weld them vertically, I think. No, not vertically, like that. But it's when there's the second one there that we want to move it along. So that gets you thinking, use a sensor. Sensor's going to get activated when the first one falls across. And I can see that causing a lock because you would use a piston to push it out. So it'd kind of lock it. Piston would come out before it falls down. ES68, thank you for your 5 months of support. And 1 Burns, thank you for subscribing with Amazon Prime. Appreciate it ever so much. Also, 800 peeps watching. Thank you for coming by and hanging out with me as we solve puzzles. I hope you're all enjoying it. Be sure to hit the follow button if you are having a good time. Need a warm-up, says Randy. What does that mean? A warm-up? Okay, anyway, we shimmy it so we got a bit of space to operate behind where it falls down. Maybe I can utilise the falling. 1 Burns says, forgot Prime was a thing. Yeah, if you've got Amazon Prime and you want to subscribe to someone, you get a free subscription here on Twitch every month of Amazon Prime. You do have to do it manually every month, though. T Today X says, Power Prism. Yeah, but I've drunk it and it's mostly cold. In fact, I'm not going to drink anymore. I don't want to drink anymore. I enjoyed it while it was hot, and now it's just bone cold. Thunderbolt says, what is the goal of this game? Great question. We are trying to create this. This is what we have to create, and these are the tools that we have to create it. Don't need a piston. The next pair will push it out of the way, says Smona. Yes, it would. Let's see that in action. Ah, right, okay. That, I think, means we need to drop it down by 1 block. So it's like that. Oh, but then it doesn't get the push. So let's go actually move it back up, but over as well. So we're going to put it here. Oh, yeah! Look at that! Look at that. Okay, that's sweet. That is absolutely sweet. I love that. Okay, that's really cool. What I might do to reduce the amount of blocks I'm using is like try and get it to hug the wall a bit, but I'm not really sure if that's going to be majorly effective. Let's sort of see where they line up with one another, right? Like, oh, that looks good. Okay, now we have the problem of getting that over the top of this. Now, we're just going to have to drop this one. There's no reason for us to keep it up here in a way. That's a good point. Like, I'm trying to reduce the footprint, but really, if I go down here, I don't have to make stuff cling to the wall. So then we can bring it across like so. And then the one over here is just essentially going to head in. Actually, no, it needs to drop. So it's going to come across like that. Anyway, just so we get an idea of where we're heading, we bring that across here. This one falls down. Booyah. I mean, that's actually the correct position if we do that. And we can weld it from this side. We still have that to bring in, and we haven't even touched that challenge yet. But since we're doing so good over here, I feel like we should put in a couple of blocks for ourselves, you know? We've done good. There we go. Uh-huh. And then I think what should happen is probably the arrival of that block will then send it off ready to go in. It might even look something like that. Okay. And we're missing the bit at the back. So if we can just attach the bit at the back now, then we've got it. Have you hit P while it's running to see the footprint overlay? I have not, actually. P. Oh, when it's running. So that's footprint score. Interesting. So, in order to reduce footprint, you hide blocks under each other? That's fascinating. Well, now I understand what footprint is. Unnecessary redstone, thank you for coming to the stream today. You clearly know a lot about this game, and that that knowledge is useful. Let's go ahead and weld first. Weld first, ask set questions later. And then we can probably do something, you know, I don't know at what height we need to get it over there, but we can do something like that, right? So now we're bringing 2s along. Okay, and yeah, we just got to shimmy it on around. So to keep the footprint score small, we can actually use this kind of behavior. Right, now we're gonna think about height. What's the lowest height we can go to? Actually, we can do it like this. It's going to be 1, 2. We need to get it to there. So, and I want to keep it off the ground, right? And I want to use a minimal amount of blocks. It almost feels like I should be hugging this wall a little bit more. So what I can do is rotate that. Do that. Haha. Did that wrong. Ah. Actually, it might just make more sense to put that one there. Okay, yeah, so far so good. Now, Ah, but now we have to do it like that. Rotate. And is that the correct height? I think it is. Let's get rid of all of that now. This one was a lot quicker to put together. Oh, it arrives just in time. Hey, look, it's in the right spot. It's in the right spot. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, we also need a welder at that point and that point. And then we need a... Oh, is that it? I think we might need one more block because of timing. Oh, that's amazing! That's amazing! Yes! I love it! Oh, we did it, peeps! Look at that! Look at that! What a beautiful factory! When I go into a factory, this is what I want to see. Okay? I want to see conveyor belts hanging off the side of walls. Alright? I want to see welders out in the open, floating about. You know, I want to see giant metallic objects falling from the sky. I want to see all of these things. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. That puts us up high in the cycle score at the, you know, upper echelons of the footprint area, and the block score is slamming. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Lego455 has gifted a sub to Infinifactory. We have Infinifactory watching. Infinite Factory, not Infinifactory. But Lego, thank you for gifting that sub. Awesome. Awesome. The Dog Miner says you beat my score. Hey, yeah, you guys can play along as well and compare scores. It's time for a performance review, though. Hello? What are we doing here? That looks like E-D-A-L to me. Edal. Floyd! We've got a Floyd hat. Hello? Oh! Throwing it away, am I? That can go on my bed. Yes. Food! Food! Delicious food! Oh, yesterday I found out, right, because I'm ancient, I'm old, right? I don't use all these gadgets and gizmos, all these apps, right? Started using Just Eat, that's cool. Yesterday I found out there's other ones. Well, I know, but I never really thought to use them, right? Deliveroo, Uber Eats. I get Deliveroo up on my phone, and Wagamama delivers. Whew! I'm going to be ordering from Wagamama quite a lot, I tell ya. One of my favourite restaurants. Yeah, and they got like a way better variety of stuff in my area. Oh, we're being introduced to the drill. The drill smash and break things. So we need to get that from this, right? Ah, this is going to be a very curious. Let's get the old eviscerator over here, as it were. It's going to be a curious one. How was my peanut butter oatmeal, says Perch Kangaroo. Fabulous. The peanut butter just like melts away in the curry with a bit of, in the porridge with a bit of heat. Definitely going to do that one again. Clubsy's here for 4 months. Can't believe it's been 4 months. Thank you so much for continuing to create such amazing content. Thank you, dude. Appreciate the lovely message. Appreciate it. So there are actually 2 screens that we want to save here, is what I'm noticing. And I think we want to look at this like we kind of want to use a minimal amount of parts. Also, height is kind of a thing that exists, and I'm not sure if it's going to get in our way or not. So I guess, you know, I can bring this thing actually in the name of efficiency. No, it is going to push it out to the point where there are going to be like 2 blocks. Yeah, I'm going to have to experiment a little bit because I don't know exactly how these things are going to behave yet, right? So I'm going to put one there. I'm going to bring it out by 2 blocks and then go in that direction. Interesting. Put another one there. Okay, so it gets separated. So the overall size and structure of this thing is kind of important, and it falls down where it gets separated. So there is going to be some cheeky maneuvering going on here. Right, what I would like to do is actually put that there. That makes a lot of sense. Let's go put... Yeah, okay, so that worked. And we end up with this. So I think what I want to do... I really want to salvage both of these screens in my solution. The problem is when we destroy, the thing above falls down. How do we stop that from happening? I guess if we drill that one first, it's attached to that one. So if we just consider its current position and put a drill here. Oh. Yeah, it needs to be 1 block higher. Then it destroys that one. We kind of need to push it in. Okay. Oh, this is baffling. This is baffling. This is going to be a fun one, but it's going to probably be a slow one as well. And maybe taking the 2 bits off the front isn't good, but honestly, it kind of looks like it's the thing you should just take care of immediately. Let's see it in action again. I think I'm going to rotate. I'm going to rotate this thing out of this space. Is what I'm going to do. Yeah. Oh, and rotating it might help us, or maybe not. So now we got it there. I could put 2 drills here. So I could have a drill like, or an eviscerator. Oh, they kind of block it? Now, from that point, we can come this way. That one there is going to be tricky. Now it's going to be like a lot easier to separate them though. So I can put a drill at this height. And then we separate that. And then we can have them on 2 separate tractor things, right? Conveyors. Let's go ahead and just bring that out, right? And observe what happens when this is like that. See, we lose everything. Ah! Aha! I know what to do. Let's move it, first of all, move it forward. And put that up there. Yeah, now that'll work. Will it work? Almost. Okay. Right, now it falls down. There's a variety of ways that we can maneuver it from this point on. I think I see the solution now. And I want to use like as little drills as possible, so let's do that, and this is wrong, right? Yeah, that's very wrong. It's fine though, because we're just figuring it out. Okay, now where it gets separated like that, we want to potentially just have a drill like that. Okay, it falls down there. I think we've done it. And what way are the screens facing? Right, we rotated them. Ugh. What way did we do it the first time? Right, so we need the opposite of that. Is that it? That's it! I didn't increase the cycle score at the beginning, I forgot about that. Wow, so my footprint score ain't good, the block score's okay. Interesting, so there must be a way to compact that. Let's go, let's play again, let's put up the input rate to max, which is going to be terrible. Actually, almost holds up with it. Almost holds up. Okay, too fast for that, fair enough. Too fast for that. And again, too fast. I think actually the very first thing we're doing slows it down. So it's actually not bringing them out at max CPU, at max cycles. There you go, that'll be it. So now we've got a slightly better cycle score. But how can we reduce the amount of blocks here? How can we change things up? I guess we've got to make this do a little bit more work, potentially. Let's watch it in action. So what if when it gets there, it were to bring it forward and go back across again? Let's try that. You know, we've got a score on this. Let's have a go at doing something a little smarter. Oh, if we make that drill do too much work, though, there might only be a certain amount that can go through. So we kind of don't want it to fall down. Tell you what, though, if that's too high, we do that. It only does that when it drops, which we're not going to do. Oh! Easy, easy. Xisuma, use single drill at the end to remove the 4 broken screens. I guess I could kind of see how that would work. Actually, if I rotate it this way and move off, let's put that back here. Move all of that. Got a first drill here. Okay, The problem is kind of like when it comes over the drill, it's just going to always fall into it. So it's destroying any blocks that the tractor can then interact with, essentially. But if we have one there like that, what does that do for the whole thing? Ooh, that... yeah. Can I then put that here? No, it'll put it away. I don't know. I don't know. Should we move on to the next one? X, you forgot to delete your tweet saying you're live from yesterday, says Official Jaden. I thought I deleted that. I did the process. Alright. Griffin, 123456 has subscribed to Amazon Prime. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it. Yeah, people want me to move on. Fair enough. Okay, so we've got the Eviscerator block, and now we've got the Shuttle Maintenance. And then we get another block. So we're seeing another block in this level. And that is... the Inverted Piston? Blocker, yeah. And I think it's the blocker that can attach to other blocks. Right, what we got here? Looks like we need to equip it with some new gizmos. Okay, so the first and obvious thing should be... two of these. Ah, and then it leaves that. Huh. So it's sort of saying, how are you going to deal with that, eh? I think that means they're going to detach if we mine them straight on or from the side. If we put drills at the back. I mean, essentially, I think you're always going to need 2 drills on either side. Hello? There we go. I think you're always going to need that. Then we need to attach new ones over here. Oh dear. They need to be put into Thor's. Freeze? They need to be put into freeze. We should also try and do this with that max cycle, I think. Yeah, okay. So these need to be put into 3s. And I think what we'll do is maneuver them as such. Wait, there isn't really room for what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so we got to change that to that, and then this has got to come at it from over here. Which I think looks like it's slowing down the whole input rate, which could be bad news. So maybe we rotate. Like, let's actually do this a little different. Let's do it the way it wants to be done, right? We can put welders... downwards facing welders. We can put them here, 1 and 2. And then when it gets to the end of that... what's that? Is it going to fall down or weld? It's going to fall down. Oh yeah, that's the wrong... it's the wrong shape. So, whenever you rotate a block, or push it with a piston, it slows down the output rate, right? So we're probably going to have to slow ours down if we want to do this. So what I had a moment ago was pretty much it. I don't think we're going to be able to do it and keep the input rate fast. Yeah, those, but then the one at the end is like that, right? This is what we built a second ago. And then I was like, oh no, the input rate. Yeah, that's where we're at. Oh, it could be that we also don't need that one. Yeah, there you go. So we have 4 there. 1 and 2 have already arrived. So we'll start again. 1, 2. And then it's here. I'm not sure what that means, but it might mean we can get them in place quick enough. Not entirely sure. Right, let's try and assemble them. I don't know. See where they end up. Like, where are we at timing-wise? So they get there a little fast. That's fine. I'm going to put one more there. And then we're going to put, like, a place for it to land. Where it's at the correct height, which would be there. Okay, then when it gets here, we're going to push the next one behind it off, I think. Actually, this... At what point do we weld it? Is another question. Kinda need to weld it there. Introduce me to a new block, and maybe with a good reason. There might be a very good reason for that. Okay. There might just be a really good reason for that. So I guess what we want it to do is weld. The way in which it will need to weld is actually, I believe, downwards facing. I'm very glad that we can make this one block higher. I believe it will need to weld facing downwards. And you have the problem of getting that in place. But then again, it doesn't, maybe it doesn't need to be in line, so we can do that. Okay. But it will need to be under that, so then you might need something like this going on. Right, that comes across, pushes it into place. Right, and it gets welded, but unfortunately it gets welded kind of wrong. Anyway, at the time at which it's over here, our second one is potentially around this position. And ideally, we would like it to be in the correct position. But we're probably going to sense and push this off and drop it into position. So now it's a question of, how do we time this? How do we time it? We're timing it going into the welder, which could mean we use the blocker on the outside here. So this could actually be a simple case of... we're probably not going to use rotate, right? Oh, that's a good point. Do I have to rotate anything here? No, it's all correct rotation, I believe. Good. Okay, so the blocker... Let's drag that down into that slot. And there may be a more efficient place or way to do this. So watch where they come over again. Like, I could potentially actually have it somewhere a little more counterintuitive. Oh, these buttons, I've never... press the right ones. Okay. So that is like a counterintuitive place to put it. What if we had the sensor like there? That's going to add like a small. Ah, you push it out of the way, do you? Fair enough. Okay, so next idea would be to have a sensor here. Promising. Ooh, off by one block. Interesting. Just one block out. One block out. So, how wide is our... No, yeah. Okay, so if I put the blocker and the sensor over by one, that might make up our block difference. It also might not. I'm aiming for something with a very small footprint here as well, peeps. Yes! Beautiful. Okay, okay. It's looking good. It's looking good. So, now what we're going to do is pay attention to this position. We want that thing to be in line with this. How am I? But it's kind of there. Right, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to accept the fact that it's there. It's going to... Something is going to let it... We need the conveyor belt there to move it across. But let's say this is like a marker, right? So we're going to put a piston here. Might not be the right way to do it, but we're trying to keep things minimal. And so conduit can potentially go underneath and across. And now it's getting a little less elegant, but oh, you know what? We could use a secondary sensor, maybe. We could time the arrival of something else. There's a good point. Okay, so let's just see what happens with that. Okay, the timing is just, you know, so awful. It's not even funny. Oh, you know what? I haven't really actually timed it well at all. It needs its own unique sensor. I'm also thinking, like, where is this? But it's back here. So it's going to be further away. So it's not going to be particularly beneficial. So, what we will do is put another sensor here. Have a conduit there. And I think that connects to these blocks. Okay. Like that. Yep, okay. That's looking really clean. We've got a noise in the air! And I'll read it in a second, because I'm paying attention. So, it drops down, but can we get it to the correct place on time? Is the question. That is the question, isn't it? I mean, it looks good, but here's the thing. Where does it get welded? Where does it get welded? It might be that we need to push this thing forward, if you think about it. Pushing it forward would give us a little more maneuverability. And we do not have a lot of maneuverability at the moment. So, let's go ahead and change our entire setup here. If we do that... No, not that. This... Right, we are achieving the same thing. This sensor was exclusively for that. We can mirror what we are creating and bring the conduit all the way over to this spot where it can do the same business as the piston on that side. So let's remove all of that. Remove this, and in theory we have the same setup. No, I've missed something important here. No, I haven't. Although it does mean that that stays open for a while, and then it slows down the input rate. That is a potentially avoidable problem. Let's go ahead and move that up by 1 and put a conduit there. And now... Ah! The timing is off. However, we can say it's off, but... the timing is what the timing is. So that can be here. There is also another possibility. Let's look at the precise moment. Now, I'm pretty sure this is going to break because we tried to do this like a bunch of times before. If I have a sensor... let's just watch it again a second. I wish there was like a slow mode for this. I can't help but feel if we try and detect it there, it's too frequent. So it's not like we can use the blocks maneuvering here to push that out at the correct time. Then again... Nah, okay. Right, so... let's get back on track. We now need to maneuver this over in that direction. Let's get something like that going on. Okay, did our timing here change at any point? No, that's good. Okay. Okay, that's very good. Now the one on the other side probably arrives a little too early, right? Yep, let's go. One's in place. We now need pretty much the same thing. However, look at the position. This kind of needs to be over by 1. And we can actually take care of that really easily. If we just go like this. Or maybe actually, 1, 2, 3. Maybe, maybe it's over here. And then we bring it back by 1 somewhere around there. So it can get into place. But then the welders need to be here. Okay, let's put the welders in. We need to maneuver it in the same way. It needs to be right in that space. It gets pushed there. Maybe the first thing it does is shimmy itself back. And then come across to that space. It didn't go back first. So I think that means... we need it like this. Okay, what time does it arrive? Yeah, okay, fine. That is so close. What are we missing? Maybe the tractor beam? So maybe we put that on the opposite side. And then it's all good, right? It's got to be all good after this one. It's got to be all good. It's got to be all good in the hood, homie. Oh! Oh, it's all good in the hood! No, it's not! It's terrible! That's fine. Let's turn down the cycle rate. Which I hope actually doesn't mess this bit up. Come on, number two! Yeah! It's not done with max cycle rate, but it's done. Holy moly! Holy moly. That was a good one. We got a noise in the ear from Toko and T here for 6 months. Toko and T, thank you ever so much for your support. I appreciate it. We've also got Jan14 CHG here for 7 months with the Amazon Prime. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And cycle score be high. Footprint be alright. Block score be pretty good. Let's just see if there were any iterations here. Like, that is an unnecessary block, I believe. Possibly something over here, but maybe not. I think that's kind of it, really. I think you're intended to stop the car with blockers, says Sputnik. Yeah, if that's how you do it with the faster CPU... sorry. Every time, like, cycle, I think CPU cycles, if using the blockers is the way to do it at the max score, it doesn't kind of appeal to me, because then I'm not actually really dealing with the max input rate, because I'm slowing it down. So I'm fine with it being how it is. It's one of the weird things about the input rate, is it has that kind of, like, I don't know what you call it, really, just that element of manipulation, I guess. Yeah, it's trying to teach you to exert control over the input feed, says Unnecessary Redstone. Right, so to me, I don't really feel like I need to exert that control, because I can just adjust it a little bit, I guess, but maybe there's an advantage to that I'm not really seeing. So I removed one block, but it didn't count apparently. I think it's because it counts the other type of block. So that didn't change my score at all. The max score doesn't use blockers at all, says Crowlton. Interesting. Okay, now we have Oversight Terminal model number 6. Let's check it out. That is what we got to produce, and these are the components. Right, we have a ratio of 3 to 2 to 6. Let's start by going max cycle rate, which I'm not a fan of. I'm not sure if I want to go with that or not. We mathed all of this in the past a little bit, and I tend to always end up going a cycle lower than max. So we can quite simply put 3 of these together. Where are my welders at? That's pointing the wrong way. Okay, let's see what happens here. Yeah, perfect. Right, except maybe not. I'm gonna put one there. Okay, so we get that down. Now we need to rotate these screens. Actually, no, the screens are coming out in the correct direction now that I think about it. What if we can make a compact module here to get them all together, right? If we drop them and then weld them, I kind of want them to go to the side once they've been welded. That's not really going to work, but we can stack them up in 2s. They're not being pushed across like this, are they? So, if we think about it in terms of going that way, and then where are the welders at? Like here, right at the entrance? Okay, so what's different between these two things? Because that one gets 3 together, it's because they have 2. You need to have the extra 1, and then have that. Now here's where I'm thinking, like, what if those were welders? Oh, I guess they've got to be vertical, so you'd have like one there and there, but then you've got no blocks underneath to control them. I feel like I've done this before, but then you kind of like reset. We did it by having the next one push it off. So if I have a block here so that it's higher, the next, then they don't get welded. So let's say we have 2 of those, and we forget this little welder being there, and we put it forward by 1. Now it drops down to this space. How did we do it? We did it. We've solved this already, but I just can't quite remember. You need those to be welded, then something to come along and push it off from behind. Welders on the side. Now we might not even need that, because our welders are going to be over here now. So let's have a little visualization of that. Right, but hang on a minute. The next one doesn't. Maybe I'm supposed to go like that. Have a block here and then there. Is that how we do it? Oh, that's amazing! That's amazing. That's how you do it. The next one didn't push it off because they had created some sort of blasphemous universal multi-angled welding system, which I hate. It welds it as part of that. That's annoying. So I guess we could bring it forward 1, and if we try and use more of this space, we're going to get into trouble. So we bring it forward by 1. and simply have 2 of those. Like that. Yeah! Woohoo! Right, we are going places. We are going places. Now, what about challenge number 3? I think is also relatively simple. Very similar to before. Block pushes there. They get welded. Then they come in this direction. Cool. Cool. I'm kind of wondering, maybe what I should do is rotate this. Actually, no, I'm not going to, like, gain much. I'm just wondering if this was going in the other direction, right? It would go into that space there. So if this wasn't occupying that space, I might be able to shuffle everything more towards this end, but I don't know if that's actually really compacting much. I guess it means we use less blocks to bring it over this direction. Let's go for it. Let's always try to do really good. Let's examine what's going on here. So if this were 1 block higher, the pushing mechanism might mean I just put the welding on the opposite side, right? Like that, and then, oh, is that compacted? Were they supposed to be 3 in a row? They were. So we've now done that with a smaller footprint. Excellent. So the next one, now we're going to flip it, so this one's going to come this way to use up less space overall. That means it can have these things right here, which are not going to interfere with any of that, I believe. And then we just need this sort of drop-down system where we go like that. And then they kind of end up being close to one another as well. Although it does have to wait for the next one to come along, so there's like a quick assembly that needs to happen here. So I think what we'll do is put a rotation block here, which I don't have accessible. No, that didn't work. Oh, because I'm an idiot. Okay. I think I need that one to rotate the opposite direction, right? Yeah. That's going to put it onto that. Except it needs to be 1 further over. How do we get that to actually be in the right spot? Okay. So, what if... Let me have a look at that again. Okay, it drops down on top of it. What if, rather than that one there, it is 3 wide, so let's go put that there. So it's something like that. That means it's going to nudge it over. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Let's go replace this with that. It's going to weld. Oh wait, number 9's my welder. It's going to weld there. But then when it's welded, how are we going to move it along? I could use a sensor and a piston, because the bottom bit is parked here for a while. Then the top bit arrives, and it could be like sensor and then piston. Ooh, and that timing's got to be very good because the next thing's coming along real quick. I think there's just enough time for it, you know. I don't know if I want to up the input rate at all. The other thought is that when this gets pushed off, maybe it's better if it just falls and this has already been pushed across. But the thing is, it gets moved... wait a minute. If I put it on the other side, it will move it... No. See, if I put it here, it's going to move it over by 2. Unless there's something blocking it, maybe? Right, and it's still a case of... There's more time to operate now for a piston to push it, but there's... I don't think there's a way here that this one arrives a little later, and then they go off on a tractor as they get... conveyor as they get connected. So, what we will do is put our sensor there. Actually, I think we'll put our sensor here. And our piston pusher right there. Yep, perfect, perfect. So now let's go check this thing out. And bring it over this way. What are we trying to do here again? I'm going to bring them out forward facing, that's fine. Yeah, I guess maybe here we just have to kind of bring it round in front. Kind of looks like it's got time for that. Right, now look how close that is to that, okay? That is literally perfect, I think. So let's go ahead and change that so it's in the correct spot. We don't want it to fall down. Oh, do you know what? The welding application is going to be awkward. Because we can't weld upwards. Oh! Oh, it's going to be awkward. Maybe the way I've decided to attach it all together, I guess it's a very obvious way. Like a different way, you might be sending two of these, one of them and one of them in this direction. You know, like you don't have to assemble it the way I'm doing it. That's just kind of obvious because of the way the inputs are. There are many different ways of thinking about these things. And now that I've looked at it through a different lens, I'm thinking that's the challenge I should have given to myself. And anyway, we've sort of run into a little bit of a hiccup here. Which is, how do we actually weld them? I guess moving it off in a different direction would be one way. So let's look at bringing this thing in a different way, which might end up using more blocks than I'd like. So let's say we're sneaking around the back here. Is this actually going to work? They've essentially got to end up at the same place at some point. Unnecessary redstone says all about making a solution rather than finding a single right solution. Oh yeah, I agree. But like, what I want to do is challenge my instincts a little, right? Like, the way that I've approached this, I now realise there could have been a different way of looking at this. Maybe it was more efficient if I, you know, separated these into a group of 1, 1, and 2, 1, 1, and 2, and 1, 2, and then welded them. But like, that's not to find the right solution. That's just to challenge myself and look at it from a different angle. Anyway, let's bring it round and see if looking at it helps at all. So. Yeah, okay, right, it's come back to me now. I kind of forgot what I was trying to do. So, if the timing is right, and we can... I'm going to have to put the welders in the correct spot first. I think they're going to need to be here. And I think they're going to then need a tractor there, because the thing that lands into that space is going to come around that way. So, and it's kind of like the long way around. I don't think the timing is going to be very good. Those completely block the rotation, which is disappointing. What shapes are we dealing with again here? Like that. Okay, then where can you go? Maybe what we can do is have that go like a so. Okay, I need to get that one out of the way just for a second. Now, when it comes to this, I think the instinct is to go that way, but we have something falling. It's going to slow it down, which might not be a terrible thing. Might not be a terrible thing. So we'll go ahead and do that. Slows it down, but doesn't break it, right? Now, unfortunately, what I wanted to see happen was this get pushed all the way across, which I think can actually be relatively easily achieved. Might not even need that there, or that, actually. Now, let's see what happens now. Yeah, you can see where we're going from here, right? So, if I put that there, and a welder here, does that put it all together? It gets slowed down a bit, doesn't it? I think we generally just kind of needed to move it out of the way of everything else we're doing. So, is that by 1 block? Hang on, let's see how many blocks we need to move it out of the way by. Yeah, pretty much by 1 block. So, let's rotate this way. And then we have to bring everything here across. Put in our welders again. But then probably adjust something here. And it looks to me like we're probably going to need that. Here we go. Oh, they've ended up in front. That is because this now drops down in a different position, which we can adjust by doing that. Perfect. So then when it's nudged into this space, it needs a conveyor to go there and then to bring it across. 2 blocks between each time. Or maybe not, actually. Like that? I think that's it. I think we've done it. Let's check it out. I don't think it's going to handle faster cycle scores just because of how close these are together. But we will try it. So there we go. Another one done! Woohoo! What about welding it to the bottom row before welding the screens? Could be a way to do it. Could be a way to do it. So footprint, average, cycle good, block score low. I think I'm relatively good at optimizing how many blocks I use. Like I've got a few tricks sort of in my mind when I lay things down. Like very basic stuff actually, like spacing out the amount of these things everywhere. Oh, actually I wanted to look at that a little bit further. I just had an idea, right? Like, might it be better once it's on this side to shimmy it there and then there, but probably not. So the other idea we had was to do some other welding up the top here. Yeah, because look at that. Like, this thing could have potentially come up here, right? It could have been a couple of blocks higher. Shimmied to that... Oh! I want to experiment with that. Okay, so let's keep it up at this height for now. And then we bring it across here. Those are all in the wrong direction, right? And here's where things get kind of interesting. Let's see where it ends up quickly. So we need 1 there. Ah. The place I would put the welders would be in the way of this. And I think in a really bad way as well. Like in a you can't fix that kind of way, right? Actually, I think they need to be there. And that definitely looks like a you can't fix it way. However, we do have downwards facing welders. And that means we can potentially move you over there. So... Oh, that feels like it should have worked. Why did it not work? I tell you what, it might be because we're missing a block here, which we actually need. Oh, it's because I'm an idiot. Oh, it's always because I'm an idiot, isn't it? It's never any other reason. And actually, doesn't that then mean that this becomes an even harder problem to solve? Yeah, because you definitely need, once you got 3, oh man. So, you might think, oh, poor old X can't figure it out, but there's always a way, there's always a way. Now, why are people putting derp faces in chat? Let me explain why they're putting derp faces in chat. They are derp fiends. They need their hit of dopamine in their system. Okay? And the reason they need that is because they're addicted to the derp. But this is not a derp. This is problem solving. I am maneuvering the pieces of a puzzle to try and make it more efficient. In doing that, we are going to come up against things we didn't see further down the line that need changing. How is that a derp? I'm not sure. I'm engaging my brain and solution finding. They're going ham for the derp. I am not pressing that derp button. This is not a derp. This is called problem solving. Oh, wait a minute. Now I know why you're calling me a derp, because I'm connecting it to the wrong bit. Oh, it was a derp! I thought I was so smart. I was connecting it to the screens. Oh, what a buffoon. Well, in that case, let's undo and let's at least persist a little bit in that direction, because there's still a challenge there to be solved. This time, though, oh my goodness me, I thought I was so smart. I thought, not today, derp fiends. No. Actually, now that I'm aware of that, doesn't that like heavily limit what we're trying to do here? So that can slide, then the rotation's got to be like here-ish. So can that rotate up here? And probably not that way. Yeah, maybe I could have brought this thing around, right? Like, go on, let's give it a quick shot. I can do it like the ugly way, if you like. So, if I get that over to here, which we can do, I'm going to remove all this. I'm going to remove our previous solution, because I'm not going to repair it, right? If I do that, then we need a welder here as well. Bam, needs to get welded. The welder can actually be directly above it. That's kind of cool. So, boom, boom. Right. But it's done it all wrong. Ha. Which means the welder needs to be above it, but over here. Let's go put you in the correct spot. Right. Timing. I'm gonna call it a that. Nah, there's a lot of stuff to figure out right there. What a terrific game this is, though, right? Let's exit to the cell. I want to sniff at what the next one's like. Drone maintenance. Let's go maintain some drones. Oh my goodness me, what have we got to do? Give it some new parts? What does it need? It needs some new wood and some new whatever that is, I believe. Or partial wood? Maybe just the end bit, the end of the front. Fascinating. Fascinating. My friends, that is the end of the live stream for today. I hope you've enjoyed solving some puzzles with me and having a good time. Be sure to hit the follow button before you head out of here, and we shall look at doing a raid real quick. Infinifactory. Anyone else playing the game? Yes! One person. Let's go raid them. Let's go raid them. Remember, peeps, I don't know where I'm sending you. I'm just supporting the community. That's it. Thank you ever so much. Massive thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated, and cheered. Thank you to all of my patrons. I'll be seeing you on Tuesday with another live stream. So, ciao for now. Bye-bye.